Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so welcome to part one of Archie's collection review. So before we get started, let's just talk about Archie. He's a polarizing figure. You either hate him or you love him. Now, a lot of people in my comment sections and a lot of my viewers love him, but there are some that despise him, it seems, and question why I would want anything to do with him. Well, look, I've got to give credit where credit is due, because if I hadn't have found Archie and watched his videos, I don't know if I would have come to have an appreciation for horology. And it's interesting because it all started with a search on YouTube, and if I hadn't made that faithful search that led me to Archie and subsequently the many watch videos that I watched, I wonder what I'd be into right now. I wonder if I'd ever have discovered Rolexes, and so for that reason, I am thankful that I did find him, and I'm thankful that when I did get bitten by the horology bug, that I was listening to somebody who was giving me good advice. And there are a lot of people giving bad advice out there and leading you down the path to a cheaper but ultimately less gratifying alternative. And so I feel like I'm lucky I listened to the right guru. By the way, wristwatch check, I'm wearing the black dialed Tudor Hydronaut. All right, so now one of the reasons we like Archie is because, the rawness there. It's it's the question is, where does the real person stop and where does the character start? And I think you can look at Archie and Paul. They're the same guy, but Archie is just the worst version of Paul. He's just sort of the Ed and the all of the greedy, selfish, potty mouth, tactless, alcohol fueled, moments of that individual on camera. So he's basically he's not a separate character, and it's clear that when you're watching Archie, you're watching Paul. I mean, it's different in name only, but you're just watching a human being that has no filter, and in a sense, that's sort of refreshing. I mean, most of us can't or wouldn't want to do that, and you're looking at a person that gets on camera and acts in a way that is honest and raw in all its many colorful forms. And to watch Archie is sort of to live vicariously through a person that really doesn't or says to hell with that sort of filter we have to function in society as respectable people. And it's that sort of that sort of kamikaze to hell with it way of making videos that I think is why he's so popular. I mean, there's no other watch guru like him, and he's got, clearly he has nothing to lose, and I think he's lost a lot portraying that type of persona, or I guess a better way to put that is showing that side of him on camera. I think he's sort of a lesson in what can happen if you're not careful when it comes to your social media footprint. But he's paid the price, and he really has nothing to lose anymore, and that's clear when you watch him. And so he is the raw passion of Paul or Archie or whatever you want to call him on camera is something to behold. It's very special, I think, and I love the fact that he makes videos, and I hope he makes videos for a long time. Now, he's a bit of a flipper, and that's an understatement. In a way, he's a dealer who seems to love watches and has a watch collection. And so in a sense, I feel like I'm going to be talking about the pieces in a dealer's collection in a way that might not be there, say 5 years from now. Some pieces I think will, but he's not like some people that buys a piece because he genuinely loves it. For him, a huge aspect of a purchase is clearly the value and how much money he can potentially make on it. He looks at that pretty much above all things, I think. And I made a video not long ago about something like passion-driven purchases versus value-driven purchases. When you look at a piece, link in the description if you want to check out that video. But when you look at a piece and you think, well, it's such a good deal. And then other times you look at a piece and you think, well, it's not a good deal, but I love that piece and I want it. And really the ideal is to find a piece that both has great value and appeals to that sort of passion side of you as well. For him, I think he gets a lot of pieces that I think are good values, and he often says, beggars can't be choosers, and I think he does quite a bit of settling for pieces, and I think he does that because he feels like he can and probably will flip them in the future, and for that reason, I think he's quite a bit different collector than I am. So anyway, let's get into it, and I'm going to talk in this video about two pieces. First, the Undone, and then another piece. Let's go with the Undone first. Okay, so he got that for free, I'm sure. Yeah, there are no links in the description of your video to an Amazon link, Archie, but I don't think it's a good look that you have that on and that you got it for free. And I know that you're not spruiking it, but the fact that you have it on your wrist, you're probably going to sell a few of those for the company. And it's one step closer to your competitor, and it's a step I would avoid. I would retire that Undone. And if you want a beater, I think you should purchase a humble Seiko. Or something else, I know you're not into Russian watches, but having the free watch is just it's a step towards a slippery slope that can lead you into spruiking, and in a way, just having it on your wrist spruiks it. So I would get rid of that. I wouldn't even It's not a good look in the fact that she's, I just happen to have this on because I have all my things in the box. Okay, it's not why I watched you, and it's kind of I don't want to go over the top. I mean, it's not appalling, but it's you're better than that. You're the pontiff. Get rid of that thing. Don't wear it on camera anymore. And if you do want a beater, just get a respectable, like, a Seiko 5 or something. I don't know. It's just something that you buy with your own money instead of somebody sending it to you. All right, so the Undone should be undone. All right, let's talk about his best piece, the Patek. Well, I mean, it's got box, it's got papers, and he's had it serviced through Patek, which is something that I don't think he does so much. He tends to lean towards third-party polishes and services. Sorry, that was a Freudian slip there, actually. I meant to say services. But yes, polishes as well. And I don't think that's a good move. But he didn't do it with this Patek, which is great because I think it makes the Patek much more of a pure Patek. If he had had it done through some third party, it would be compromised. And I think that's great that he actually took the trouble to get it done through Patek. All right, so it's a World Time. It's a $30,000+ watch, and he loves that watch. And I think in a way that watch is sort of, he loves it, but at the same time it's sort of the bane of his existence, because it's a 30 grand watch. I mean, the idea of taking that on a trip or wearing it outside the house, it has to be a daunting prospect. And I think he does sometimes, but you know, when I look at his Patek, I can't help but think about my Safe Queen GMT, and people say, wear that damn thing. And I look at Archie and I say, wear that damn thing. But then I think about it, I'm like, yeah, maybe just hoard it. And I think that is what he does with it. And you know, a hoarded piece can be a source of pleasure, I assure you. So it's a yeah. I mean, having that kind of money tied up in a piece is crazy. For me, I don't know if I'd want to do it. I would probably. Well, see, I mean, I wouldn't if I loved it, right? And I think he does love it, okay? But if I was sort of lukewarm to it, I would probably try to cash out and maybe get just a straight up Calatrava, maybe for 20 grand, and then use 10 grand for something else. But again, that's like people saying the same thing about the GMT that I have. You know, you gotta sell it and then buy this and this, and it's like, you know, because then you'd wear it. I'm like, no, it's exactly where I want it, and it's serving its role. And so when I think about that, I sort of relate it to maybe the Patek that Archie has, and yeah, he could sell it and get more Rolexes and maybe more usable pieces. Spread out some of that, you know, get 3 10 grand watches and maybe wear them and enjoy them a bit more. But I think maybe it's kind of nice to have just one just absolutely perfect piece that, you know, is in its box, and you don't get enjoyment from wearing it, you just get enjoyment from just owning it, just having it, and just looking at it. And perhaps that is the role of the Patek. It's a beautiful watch. I think it's gold, and it's yellow gold, and I think that's a lot better than the white gold. It gives it this warm look. The crown guards are beautiful. It's got an awesome function. I think he loves GMTs like I love GMTs, and you know, that sort of traveler aspect watch. So I think it's I don't think he could really have a better Patek, save for just a simple Calatrava. But again, I think that complication's awesome. And yeah, so that's absolutely a thumbs up. All right, so part 1 concluded. We're going to move on to part 2 and look at some other watches of his. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.